So cold, but I'm so hot.
Dope boys with them knives.
The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. 1,008 gram, headed straight to the block. Pirates, this water walk till it's hot. Mix it double up, turn a little to a lot. Right hand on the cell phone, taking order. Left hand 360 motor to a lot. Blue holler tips, got switches on the dot. State game, true stickers can't be stopped. Laughing at you haters while I'm thumbing through the paper. Says long at the bottom, won't you meet me at the top? The nigga ain't shit, yeah, get that a lot. Won't be deterred and I won't be stopped. Shaq Diesel number one, I post up on the block. 24/7 cause the hustle don't stop. 31 flavor, take an order like a waiter. I be selling more gas than a local truck stop. 1,200 strong for a pound to the top. Got me shining, I'm a star. Ask about me, I am legend. They gon' tell you who we are. Fuck these niggas, fuck these bitches. Get money, all I know. No love for these bitches. Never saving these hoes. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not.
When I'm thinking about the past, yeah, gon' get some nice gang, we at the spot. If we ever was short, then it's back to the block, you probably get shot. Every day the sun change, we getting money, that's one thing that's never gon' stop. Real dope boys do what it takes, playing high stakes, living to die. Do your time, keep it quiet, no matter who you are, don't get what you got. Stack it up, that's the bond to stay fresh. Oh, they think that you're not. Take a roll with a hoe, they gon' let you go. Somebody's gonna say you ain't hot. Just invest in yourself, don't worry about nobody else. There ain't no handout. If you say the same, put it on chain. Let them see you ain't tied down. Got a couple rings, did a lot of things. I ain't really gon' talk about it. Give me a trade, get you this and go. She gon' show up and show out. So don't ask me what the dope at, cause you already around.
The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy, fresh with dope boy not. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I wasn't gonna go live, but I was laying in the bed and this young nigga popped up on my screen. I did not know who the hell Amazing Lucas was until about 15 minutes ago. When I was watching his video, because his video popped up where he was saying he felt like he was ambushed and set up on Piers Morgan. And I saw a couple clips and he looked like he handled himself well. Now, it's supposed to be 2 men versus 2 women, but when he got up there, it was 4 white people versus 1 black person. And so, y'all know I don't like to bring race into shit, but this was a proud nigga moment for me. I'm sorry. I was proud of the brother. And then I was also appalled to hear that one of the women on the panel has purchased a black child. Now, she didn't purchase him for slavery or anything like that, but I told y'all it's this other woman that having kids and selling them is a hustle. It's a legal hustle where you can give them up for adoption. You set them with an agency, they pay a price and all this shit. It's really, but it's a white woman with a black daughter, and hearing him break it down, it just didn't sit right with me. So before I get onto my football stuff, let's get into some great commentary. Let's see what these people talking about.
These people have Charlie Kirk's blood on their hands. I don't believe there's any reforming these people. I don't believe there's any shaming these.
Oh, yeah, I also had, and that's where I got that meme from, that meme that I just put on my wall where I said, yikes. And strangely enough, y'all heard me the other day talking about how both sides are just doing the damn most. But yeah, they've been doing the most for like 10 years. I forgot about them having the whole Trayvon and thing where they were acting like they was dead and the white people was laughing, and this is all a good thing. So why in the fuck are y'all mad that some black people don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk? Y'all always make fun of the shit niggas go through. Fuck y'all feelings.
People, I think these people need to be defeated.
You've posted some messages about Charlie Kirk on your Instagram, and you're laughing.
If he had spent a modicum of his time focusing on the white youth, that perhaps he would still be with us today.
Charlie was a friend, a mentor of mine. He sit here today and listen to the discussions. I mean, I am just like in total disbelief.
I've been told all week he would have hated someone like you. No, he would have respected me because I'm my own person and I know how to have my own thoughts.
Oh, I can't even go to the grocery store alone anymore. I can't even walk my dog without a gun.
Wait, was that a dude?
President Trump is in the UK for an historic second state visit. The world's most
Was that
famous
a
royal family
grown man
is hosting the world's
that
most
said he
famous
would have
president for a trip.
respected me?
It was supposed to be about diplomacy and unity, but they're not really words anyone's using right now. It's 1 week since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. His alleged killer, Tyler Robinson, had no reaction as he learned he could now face the firing squad.
For the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
Well, prosecutors have released chilling text messages which appear to show that Robinson confessed to the murder to his transgender roommate and boyfriend. I had enough of this hatred, Robinson said. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Everything we know about Robinson so far, from his family's evidence to the messages scrawled on bullets, point to a screamingly obvious motive. But with each new revelation, many legacy media pundits have sought to minimize their relevance.
It's not really helpful for the tone and tenor of the radicalization of our country right now. We've seen time and time again over the last year how people of the trans community have been blamed for a whole host of things. And so I think that putting that out there, and if you look online like I do, you see a lot of people picking that up on the far right. They're looking to demonize and blame trans people. It's not helpful.
Just to be clear, I mean, just law enforcement people, I don't think we know the meaning of his message. We know his history.
Bella Ciao is an anti-fascist thing. It says fascists catch this.
Then I'll give you his history, right? Think about his history. His history, but this is not the
Bible. Debating it.
This is that's what I wanted to tell you. This was my point, not yours. This was my point, not yours. The point is, who cares?
A kid. This is probably his first real relationship, and somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot.
Where the
Why
hell
did he wait
did
until the first word trans
Montel
came
come
up?
from?
Then he took the shot.
You think he heard it? He could hear it?
I think he could hear it. I think he also,
Montel.
I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally.
What? The hypocrisy is astounding. For what it's worth, I don't think tying these tragedies to party politics is particularly helpful. The common theme has deeply disturbed people who spend too much time on the dark corners of the internet and have no purpose in life. But if a liberal star had been gunned down by a Christian family values assassin from the right, how many of these people would now be yelling, "Who cares?" And didn't President Biden hold a national address to say MAGA Republicans were the nation's greatest danger? If you care about motives, it works both ways. And on the subject of dishonesty...
No, seriously, Piers Morgan. Motherfuckers get shot in the United States all day, every day. Charlie Kirk ain't no different than any other motherfucker that died that day, other than he has a name. Who gives a fuck? That's a legitimate thing. This motherfucker wasn't the president. He wasn't the senator. He wasn't the vice president. He wasn't related to none of these motherfuckers important. He was just a regular old white guy that got killed. Who gives a fuck?
Hypocrisy. The Attorney General Pam Bondi is facing a bipartisan backlash for saying this.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you,
Me
go
either,
after
John,
you
other than this,
if you are
content.
targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
There is no First Amendment. Why am I telling this to the American Attorney General? There is no First Amendment exception for hate speech, as many guests have reminded me on the show since we launched. You can and should be repulsed by the people mocking Charlie Kirk and his grieving family. But the organized witch hunt, searching for reasons to hound them out of their jobs, feels a little bit too close to the cancel culture.
You motherfuckers aren't repulsed when black people are killed on camera. Y'all make memes of it. Y'all make games out of it. So again, Englishmen, fuck you and your foreign overseas ass opinion. Fuck you. Who cares? Nigga, show us what's going on in England.
That the right, quite rightly, have always tried to resist. let's not forget that Charlie Kirk died fighting that kind of culture. Well, joining me now is the host of the Megyn Kelly Show. Megyn Kelly. Megyn, great to have you on our show. So I just want to start by saying how sorry I am to you on a personal level for the loss of Charlie Kirk, because I watched you on the day it happened. I saw how emotional you were. I saw how much this had personally affected you, and it really moved me. And so just on a human level, I'm really
like
sorry for you and your loss at losing your friend. Just turning to the reaction, though, so many parts of this really concern me. Obviously, the killing itself, horrific, that someone should be shot dead for their opinions. The way that so many on the woke left, young people, so gleefully raced to celebrate this on social media.
I think he just
joyously celebrating, reveling in this brutal murder of a young father.
He was
and
a
then to
lion
watch
toad.
the
I don't think he was
very
racist,
liberal
though.
skewed mainstream media. You and I talked about this a lot. But look at the tortured ways they are trying so hard to avoid saying the obvious about this shooter and trying to find something, anything, to excuse what he did. All of it is grotesque.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for that, Piers. It was a devastating day, and unlike anything I've ever experienced or want to experience again. You know, Charlie and I weren't the kind of friends who were meeting for dinner, but I'd had him on my show over 15 times in the past year and a half. Like, I'd had him on tons of times. I've been on his show tons of times. We did a bunch of Turning Point events together, and I spoke with him many times backstage. And so I felt like I knew him as a friend and knew what he stood for. Not to mention all the countless hours I've seen him on these college campuses and all the prep you do when somebody's coming on your show. So I do feel like I knew who he was. I really do. And he was total goodness. I mean, he was truly a happy warrior. The picture that's being painted of him by his detractors now bears no resemblance whatsoever to the man I knew. And they didn't. They didn't.
Here's the thing, white bitch. Here's the thing. The shit that people are saying about Charlie Kirk now, they were saying while he was alive. This ain't shit that just popped up after he died, motherfucker. Like, most of his goddamn clips that you see is him debating black people and them having the same critiques of him while he was alive that he was. But they weren't really, they were arguing his points. So it's not that they're trying to paint him anyway. And ma'am, you have to understand, this man knew what the fuck he was doing. That's how he was able to make his business. That's how he was able to have a successful platform, by saying shit that he knew was going to offend people and at the least start a conversation. So you can't, he knew what the fuck he signed up for, and now you're trying to act like he didn't know. He knew. He heard it every time he stepped outside his door that people disagreed with him. What the fuck is wrong with you people? How was he ready to accept the responsibility and the consequences for his actions, and the rest of you motherfuckers ain't? He knew what came with the shit he was talking. He knew.
Because I see the few who will bother to offer evidence of their views that he was this terrible guy, a racist, what have you. It's helpful. I appreciate when they say why they thought that, because I'm familiar with almost all of the incidents that they used to batter Charlie, and they're fake. It's fake news. Charlie was honestly the most optimistic person in our movement. I mean, I was saying to Tucker last night, I say it to you too, I think the rest of us are way more cynical mofos than Charlie ever was. You know,
But I get you. DRZYRV. You need to have that same feeling for all of the white people that couldn't stand on the fact that they made fun of Trayvon Martin, that they made fun of Breonna Taylor, that they were actually going out and posing, dressing up and posing as these people. And you motherfuckers didn't say a word. So if you didn't say a word about that, get your bitch ass out my chat. One thing I do over here is be fair. If you just gonna come in and not be fair and not point out what both sides have been doing, get your bitch ass out. I ain't gonna block you. I'm gonna let you leave like a grown man unless you can sit here and have this conversation like a grown man.
We've been in the business a long time. We're pretty cynical. That's what happens to you when you're a news person. Charlie wasn't a news person. He was like a prophet in some ways who was.
Doesn't matter if Breonna Taylor was a criminal. See, you white motherfuckers coming in saying this shit right now is exactly why black people don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. Because you motherfuckers don't care. Y'all say what the fuck y'all want to when y'all think it's funny. Y'all got excuses for every goddamn thing. Well, Charlie Kirk was killed, you stupid motherfucker, because he was a rat racist. How about that? You called her a rat. He was killed because he was a racist and a homophobe, and so a gay person killed him. How about those apples?
Speaking the good word while using those biblical principles to try to persuade people over to his political worldview. And it gave him.
Nobody cares what a motherfucker named Barney thinks. But apparently you do care. You're over here on a black channel listening to a black person. So that makes no sense at all. You don't care what black people think, but you're listening to one speak. And you also watch this show because a black guy was on it. Y'all, you white people are stupid as fuck. Y'all got the wrong nigga to troll. I will cuss y'all ass out and I will respond back crassly to the stupid shit y'all say. Let go.
Like an optimism and a happiness and a joy and a benevolent kindness in dealing with these kids on college campuses.
Your mama's a dipshit. Yeah, you scroll through and guess what? Instead of like not going on because you didn't hear what you typed, you had to say something thinking you were going to get an emotional reaction. Go fuck your mama and your dog, white boy.
That frankly, the rest of us have probably lost a long time ago. At least I certainly have. And that leads me to my point in response.
Racist jokes? You're a smart guy. See, I can do that. Yo mama jokes is off the board, but coming in saying racist jokes is fair. All right, then. You got it.
Response to your second points.
Bruh, you're named after a dinosaur and a caveman. Ain't no motherfuckers walking around in 2025 with the name Barney.
I don't believe there's any reforming these people. I don't believe there's any shaming these people. I don't believe reaching out across the aisle will do anything to improve things with these people. I think these people need to be defeated and we need to move on from them. You know, I don't want anything bad to happen to them, but the answer, as far as I can see, is to grow our own ranks. That's it. We have to drown out.
Yes, it is YouTube, but guess what? If I go somewhere and I don't like the conversation they talking about, my black ass don't say nothing. I just keep scrolling. I don't feel the need to argue with motherfuckers I don't know and just say stupid shit in their chat. But that's white people for you in 2025. All y'all do is just go around the places fucking with people. That's fine. But then when we fuck with y'all back, y'all get to crying. Oh, look at him. The niggers, they just do this and y'all are monkeys. And man, take y'all apes looking ass on somewhere. Look at this bitch. Look at this white bitch. Look at her. Slender face head bitch. She looks like a Neanderthal. She looks like a cave beast. She's your ancestor, sir.
Out their voices. We have to answer their voices with our own. We have to grow more conservatives and independents who are sane and would never back political violence. There's so many people I detest on the left. I mean, it's a long list whose death I would never dream of celebrating. Never. There's only one right response when somebody gets assassinated or murdered. And it's, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for their family and their friends. What is the world coming to? And so there's no convincing them they've made.
Sorry, I'm streaming on 2 channels and the comments is coming fast. So somebody said, who's racist? Motherfucker, I didn't never say I wasn't. See, unlike you white people, I stand in the pain and say, yeah, I could be racist at times. Am I racist all the time? Nope. Do I hate white people or Asian people or Indian people? Nope. But if they do something that offend me, I do like everybody else. I talk shit. Just like y'all in this motherfucker talking shit, I'm gonna talk shit back. I'm sorry y'all used to motherfuckers not responding back to y'all dumbasses, but I'm the wrong one. But then on some days, I just let y'all rock out in the chat and don't say nothing just to show how stupid white people are. But we're the fucked up ones, but y'all constantly come in talking racist shit. It's cool though. Don't get me triggered. I just talk shit back and get the content. Hope y'all enjoying them commercials that I got coming on too.
An error or that we should all get along and they shouldn't celebrate our deaths. We just have to keep saying all the things that we've been saying and say it louder and more compellingly and do it from fortified spaces so that we cannot be hurt while doing it.
Yeah, you know, even as we were still poring over the horrific fallout from Charlie's murder, you saw the scenes outside the courtroom for Luigi Mangione, right? Who for some bizarre reason.
Sir, your culture is broke too. You have a culture of rapists, sir. You have a culture of incest people, sir. What the fuck are you talking about? Could you please hold the mirror up to your own trailer park trash culture? How about that? All right, then.
You know, having walked up to a guy he didn't know, a health executive.
Y'all, we're going to watch Barney sit here for an entire hour and argue with black people that he don't like, but he ain't got nothing. He ain't got shit else to do better with his Saturday morning than argue with people he don't like. I'm gonna let him rock out just to show I'm unbothered. And I'm only responding to you because this is my job, so I get paid for this shit, unlike you. But continue to talk in the chat. Nobody cares. You notice ain't nobody said shit to you but me. We're trained over here.
And assassinated him in cold blood. For some reason, he's become a hero to these people on the woke left, to the extent that when the terrorism charges were dropped against him, they were all out here doing this, celebrating, dancing in the streets. Like this was a joyous moment to be alive. Uncensored is supported by OneSkin, a self-care business founded by scientists. They're patented. It's one. But you can .co.
They 100% have Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry, but these people have Charlie Kirk's blood on their hands. They 100% have Charlie Kirk's blood on their hands.
Wait, so the guy who actually shot him don't have blood on his hands, but the people that are celebrating, they have blood on their hands? All right, if that makes sense to you, all right.
Because this is what you get. When you celebrate political violence, you get more of it. What do you think this shooter, Charlie's shooter, thought was?
Hey man, y'all could tell the two racist motherfuckers who in here triggered. Y'all can tell. Y'all, they won't stop typing. It's hilarious.
Going to happen to him. He thought that he would become a hero amongst certain pockets on the left, and he has. Just go on Blue Sky.
Okay, that was a dumb white person that just said, okay, Brokey, you can't even afford YouTube Premium. I'm sorry, this dumb bitch don't know that people that have YouTube channels are allowed to put commercials in their shit. But what do you see up there in the top left-hand corner right there? What does that say? Premium Home, YouTube Premium Home. I told you, you white people just come in talking shit, and then you wonder why when shit happened to you motherfuckers, we don't care. Y'all just dumb. But no, I can't afford YouTube Premium because I skipped through Piers Morgan's commercial, which if you've ever been on YouTube, you can't skip through an ad that's placed there, you stupid bitch. Just like when my commercials pop up in my live that you're watching right now, you can't fast forward through it, bitch, and tap it play for a minute. Oh, boy.
And that foments more political violence.
Shout out to y'all for the views, though.
I mean, there should be universal condemnation. Universal condemnation. Now the left is saying, oh, it's cancel culture to fire people who are celebrating Charlie's death. That's ridiculous. If you want to say you didn't believe Charlie was a good guy and you didn't believe in his messages, go for it. You shouldn't be fired from your job for that. But if you were celebrating the murder.
All I'm going to say is Amazing Lucas is good for the algorithm because he done brought out all the racist whites who apparently have seen this already because they're talking about it. And the numbers on both channels are, let me look at the numbers. Let me see. Got 105 on MoneyBoy Trey and 80 on Pettigoat. Shout out to Amazing Lucas.
The political assassination of anyone, you absolutely should be fired. Who in their right mind would continue employing you or want you to be around their clients or customers?
Do you know what?
Or fellow employees?
It's really interesting, Megan, you say that. I just had that very conversation with my team here, like when we were prepping for today's show. And I said, I just done a podcast and I was like ruminating about how I'd
That round of applause is for the racist people in the chat that keep typing, thinking they're going to get me triggered, and I just keep ignoring them because I have emotional intelligence and I know what you're trying to do. It's funny, though. Continue with the engagement, though. Continue helping my broke black ass out by being in the chat and giving me engagement, which gives me money. Keep watching those commercials for my broke black ass. Appreciate you.
Responded to this. And I said, to me, the line is very clear, which is that free speech doesn't cover incitement to violence or acts of violence or anything to do with actual violence. And I'll come to what J.K. Rowling has said today about speech being violent and how absurd that is because of what it leads to. But I said, when it comes to free speech, though, it doesn't mean you're not accountable for things you then say, right?
That's right.
You could be protected from any legal ramifications against you by government. That's why Pam Bondi was so insane to say what she said.
Correct.
Because she didn't seem to understand the law or the First Amendment. A little worrying with an attorney general.
Yep. I got a laptop fund up there while I'm currently on a laptop because I want a new one. Yep. Just like Donald Trump is a millionaire and he still takes up money for presidential donations and shit. You can't shame me. White people beg all day. They have all types of shit up. Fund my movie. Give me a car. Get me out the trailer park. Can't shame me, but I'm glad y'all are trying, though. I really am. Y'all are not going to knock me off my square. I'm still going to get through this video. I'm still going to talk shit to y'all if I deem necessary. And I'm still going to criticize the shit these motherfuckers saying on the screen. How about them apples?
She's now tried to backtrack. But the reality is, if you're a doctor, a nurse, a professor at Harvard, if you're a teacher in a kindergarten school, whatever it may be,
y'all do realize if I really just wanted to, if I was really triggered by y'all, I would just block all you motherfuckers. Y'all do realize it, right? I'm being a benevolent black God, and I am not blocking you motherfuckers like I could. I can get y'all up out of here, and you retarded motherfuckers are still gonna watch. Continue.
If you have a job like that and you are seen gleefully celebrating somebody's murder, then it is highly likely your employer will take a view that you are inappropriate for that position. And I said to my team, you know, if one of you said this, honestly, if one of you reveled publicly on social media in somebody's murder like this, I said, I wouldn't want you here. And we all kind of agreed. Nobody would want that person there. But that's not an infringement of your free speech rights in terms of a government coming after you or the law. It's just accountability.
The white man didn't bring me over here. You talked to the wrong nigga. The white man, I wasn't a descendant of slaves, sir. So there you go. Nice try, though.
For what you say with employers.
And frankly, let me put it one step further. As somebody who used to practice law for 10 years, if you had someone on your staff who openly celebrated a political assassination and made the point that murder can be good depending on its aims and its intent, and you continued employing that person, and then they hurt somebody else on your staff who may have said something politically that they didn't like, you'd be sued. There'd be a good case against you for allowing it, for continuing to endanger the employees who work for you. There's every incentive to get rid of somebody who doesn't show basic humanity. That doesn't seem to be too much to ask. And again,
Brandon, if I started blocking people, I wouldn't give a fuck. I had my channel and was doing great on my channel before I met any of you shit talking motherfuckers this morning. So that doesn't work on me either. Don't care. Again, they would still watch just because they're disagreeing with what they hear. So they would still watch and just pull their hair out.
and that is to be distinguished from people who just say,
You know what? I'm gonna challenge. I'm gonna take Brandon up on that challenge. Watch this here. I'm finna cut the chat off to where if you ain't been subscribed for 20 minutes, you can't talk. And watch these same motherfuckers that haven't been subscribed for 20 minutes. They're gonna be silent for 20 minutes, and they're gonna come right back.
I didn't like him. I don't believe you're saying the right legacy about Charlie. I'll fight you on whether he was good or bad. That's fine. That's quintessentially American. I think that's well within the bounds of appropriate speech, even in the wake of a tragic death like this. I don't like it. I don't think it's the right timing. I definitely did not think after Luigi Mangione killed Brian Thompson of United Healthcare, it was the time to debate whether our insurance companies are good or bad.
Right.
Maybe we can have that discussion, but you don't have that in response to the political violence, or you encourage more of it.
Correct.
But the loss of humanity is A, both fireable, and B, deeply troubling. And it's growing. And
Look here, white lady, you can't tell people how to respond. You can't. That's y'all problem now. Y'all want to fucking control everything. Can't nobody tell you bitches what to do, but y'all want to police and tell everybody else what to do. We can react how the fuck we want to react, just like y'all react how the fuck y'all want to react.
There were two recent surveys of our country and where people stand on whether political violence is ever justified. And one showed that 55% of liberals said it is. And one showed that 34% of liberals said it is. And both surveys showed very low single digits, like 7% of Republicans say sometimes it is. So this is a leftist problem. And the reason it remains a problem, I mean, there's many reasons why it's a problem, but the reason it remains a problem is the thing that you just showed, where the left, first of all, refused to accept, as we saw early on, first of all, it was Charlie Kirk who was shot. It was not some left-wing member of.
Okay, you people on MoneyBoy Trade that are racist and talking shit, I'll see y'all back in 20 minutes.
The squad, God forbid. I don't want anything to happen to them either. It was Charlie Kirk. It was very clear, Occam's razor, the likelihood of why this guy was killed. And then it came out what was on the bullet casings, which were very clearly leftist messages, which they refused to accept on the left-wing media. They tried to say it might have been a Groyper, which is a far-right person who follows Nick Fuentes. That was obviously not true given what was written on these bullet casings. And the bullet casing that shot Charlie, from the bullet that shot Charlie, was Notices Bulges, OWO, which is a furry meme. And the furry culture is very closely linked to the trans culture. And many of us went out there and called a spade and said that's how this appears to be. The left melted down, can't possibly be. And then sure enough, what do we find out? That the shooter has a trans/furry, quote, boyfriend who's in the middle of transitioning from male to female, which, by the way, is not a thing, cannot be done, and is writing him love notes about there's too much hate coming out of Charlie, and he's fallen into left-wing.
The way you're describing them, it sounds like you're full of hate towards gay people. I'm just saying. So you can describe them the way that you did and say there's no way that that can happen. but they can't disagree with Charlie Kirk. This shit is crazy.
Ideology. And now the left messaging, instead of saying, okay, you were right. Sorry, we're going to really have to take a look at our own messaging around these issues. Says, what does it matter? Julia Kayam, what?
Well, what do you know? Somebody said if I cut the chat off, then the numbers would drop. Well, now there's 219 people on there. You got to be subscribed for 20 minutes. And there's 136 on Pettigoat, and that was at 80. See y'all racist motherfuckers back in 20 minutes, because I know y'all ain't got shit else to do with y'all day.
Does it really matter what the motivation was? You know, maybe he was just some nutcase. And that's my final point. He wasn't a nutcase. I am totally open-minded to it was a nutcase, and you really can't ascribe too much to the particular motivations. I mean, at some level, everybody who takes another person's life in this fashion has to be a bit off. But this guy wasn't, Piers. He wasn't one of those guys, like take the guy who killed poor Irina on the light rail train in North Carolina. Clearly that man is mentally deranged and may have had other motivations that were connected to his mental derangement. But this is not a sane person. It's very clear. The issue in that case is judges who wouldn't lock him up, knowing that he was insane, just turned him back out on the rest of us because they knew he was violent, a criminal, and insane. The issue here is there's no hint of insanity. This guy seems to have been very much together. This was truly a political assassination. And I heard Charles C.W. Cook of National Review say it beautifully, which was, you look back at why Reagan was killed by John Hinckley, not killed, shot by John Hinckley. He was a nutcase. He went to the mental asylum. He was doing it to impress Jodie Foster. That's not somebody who's moved by political rhetoric against Reagan. But look at who killed Martin Luther King. That was political violence. He was against the civil rights movement. He was a racist. Yes, the motivation does matter. The left would never dispute that if you held those two cases up. And this case seems pretty clear. We're dealing with a sane young man who was politically motivated to take down Charlie Kirk. How did he get there? What were the influences? Totally fair questions that need to be honestly answered.
100%. Just a final point before I let you go, Megan. I know you've got a busy day. The language that people have used on the left for so long about Trump and Trump supporters, Hitler, Nazis, fascists. When you see the anti-fascist insignia on the bullets, with one of the bullets, I've felt for a long time that if you keep using those analogies, those grotesque analogies about Trump and his supporters, then eventually people on the left who are slightly unhinged, who've been radicalized, they're going to think logically in their twisted way. They're going to think, well, if this is actually the new Hitler, if these really are the new Nazis, they represent an existential threat to America, I need to kill them. I mean, it's a logical way to look at it if you genuinely believe they are Hitler and the Nazis or the new fascists. And that's been my issue with that language for so long. And it's got to stop, hasn't it? Because
that's been your issue with the language for so long, yet for so long, people haven't been doing what you described. They're not just running out and killing the politicians and people that they feel like is Hitler. Again, I don't understand why this motherfucker, he's in a totally different country, but he's always involved in U.S. politics. Is it boring over there in England? Do they not have anything going on in the parliament over there? He can't talk about the prince, the king, and shit of that nature. Why is he always entrenched in American politics, which has nothing to do with them?
I can see how a twisted mind hears that all the time.
My bad. Thank you.
Believes it.
Thank you. Thank you for a super chat, Marge. Hold on. Thank you for a super chat. Where my drop? Marge came in out of nowhere. Where you damn it, that's the wrong one. That's background. I don't even know how to work my StreamYard, y'all. This is crazy. Okay, video clips. There you go. I had all my tabs closed, so I couldn't see. And they make this shit different when you on the vertical app. Also, since somebody made the white girl made fun of it, even though white people are like the inventors of fundraisers, hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, hit the Super Chat, join the membership, buy an album, donate, and support the laptop fund.
We appreciate $1, but we would rather have 10. We appreciate $20, but we would rather have 50. We appreciate $50, but we would rather have 100. We appreciate $100, but we would rather have 200. Thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
Yes, and yet there will be no stopping them. If they didn't learn that lesson after Butler, they're not going to learn that lesson.
Right.
They really believe it. First of all, some collection of them really believes that Trump and his supporters are fascists and all white supremacists and Nazis. So they're not going to back off of it. They're committed to that rhetoric because they think it's truthful. And secondly, there is a part of them that is enjoying the political violence. You know, I mean, back to the polls I just referenced. There is an unhealthy faction on the left that would like to see more people on the right get killed, actually get killed. And honestly, you look at the difference between right now, the left is bringing up the murder of this House Speaker in the state of Minnesota a few months ago. This terrible murder by a nutcase. This guy was nuts. Okay, it's back to the crazy people who are out there everywhere in the world. The difference between that murder and Charlie Kirk's murder is there wasn't a single solitary right-winger who celebrated that woman's death. And there wasn't a single solitary right-winger who demonized her as fascist or Nazi or what, pick your term.
Ma'am, that is a goddamn lie. I guarantee you that if you actually did any motherfucking research, you would have found some people laughing at it, especially if you're talking about Democrats versus Republicans. Right now, y'all are mad that Democrats or people that y'all think are Democrats are laughing at Charlie Kirk, and you're sitting here saying no one laughed at the lady that got beat up. See, one of my co-hosts was on here the other day talking about how they was laughing at the woman husband who got beat with a hammer. Democrats, Republicans were laughing at them. And I specifically said both parties need to do better. Like at some point, we got to lay down political sides and just be fucking humans. Y'all is disguising all this hatred and divisiveness by party lines. Who gives a fuck if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself? You're still a human at the end of the day. You're no better than the next person. And that's my main issue with politics and niggas who want to argue politics, because they always gonna say one side is better, like all the motherfuckers ain't humans and all of them have flaws.
Prior to her death, she was the victim of a crazed madman who, if anything, said he was motivated by the Democratic governor, Tim Walz, and him telling him to get demons. But the point is, the reactions both before and after the assassination were markedly different.
Yeah.
Just like on the hate speech comment by Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi got shamed out of her position yesterday by the right, because most of us on the right are consistent with our positioning. And when we heard her say such an asinine, inane thing, we clobbered one of our own. The left wing doesn't do that. And while I've received lots of nice messages from some more reasonable leftists in response to Charlie's assassination, and I do appreciate it, it's not enough to feel it privately. You have to police your own side. You have power over your lefties in a way I don't. So
Police
I
your
can't
own
fix it even if I want to, and I don't actually believe.
Bitch, how you talking about police your own side? Yet you again, man. Did you police Charlie Kirk when he said Michelle Obama and them didn't have the mental capacity to be able to get jobs on their own? Did you not police Charlie Kirk when he was laughing at the black woman who said that she initially was hired by affirmative action, but she stayed because of the work she put in? He was laughing at her saying she couldn't say affirmative action. Did you police that? If you didn't, shut the fuck up. Why do y'all, y'all always want to tell motherfuckers what to do? You ignore what the people in the Republican Party do, ma'am, to point out and say, well, these Democrats, they did that. How about we just say we both did it, we both were wrong, we need to be better? That's just too much like right, though.
I think it's fool's gold to even try, but I'd love to see them give it an effort on the left.
Megan, it's great to have you. You're going out on tour for the first time with your brilliant show. I was booked to appear with you in Miami. Some people have said to me, because of all this, will I still be appearing with you in Miami? And the answer is yes, because frankly, to all those who want to intimidate people like us from not being able to express our honestly held opinions, fuck them. So I will see you in Miami.
Piers.
It's fuck y'all. Y'all literally are up here crying about people's opinion of Charlie Kirk. What the fuck? You want to intimidate me? Y'all are trying to intimidate people. Y'all are trying to guilt trip them and intimidate them to have compassion for Charlie Kirk, and they don't want to. So it's fuck y'all too. See how that works, Piers and White Lady?
You gave me the chills. I love you for saying that and for doing that. And yeah, come hell or high water, I will see you in Miami.
I look forward to it. Take care, Megan.
You too.
US national debt is more than $37 trillion. And these are uncertain.
See, do y'all see right there at the bottom? It says add Bert's goal. And that's a Piers Morgan ad. That's not a YouTube one. That's what Piers Morgan put into his production for the stupid white bitch that said, you ain't got YouTube Premium. You ain't got premium.
Well, joining me on the panel to discuss all this is Riley Gaines, the host of Games for Girls on Outkick.com, Gillian Michaels, host of Keeping It Real, Brian Shapiro, host of Pushing the Limits, and Lucas Bain, better known as the amazing Lucas. Okay, well, welcome to all of you. Brian Shapiro, I was sickened by what happened to Charlie Kirk.
This where it's finna get good, y'all. This is where it's finna get good. He finna, y'all just watch their faces in their like just watch their body language when Lucas started hitting them with the points of the own fuck shit that they doing. Cause that's all he doing is saying, wait, y'all been doing this shit. Y'all mad that we doing it? Stop it.
I think we can probably all agree, I hope we can all agree, it was sickening, although I had Destiny on the other night who couldn't bring himself to condemn it because Donald Trump.
This chick right here kind of looks like Tiffany Stratton, but I think that's the dude. This nigga here looked like Tiffany Stratton, but he had the deepest voice when he said, Charlie Kirk would have applauded me if I was here. Now, Charlie Kirk didn't like gays or trans, so he wouldn't have liked you, white lady. Man.
Hadn't said the right thing for him, which I think is a lamentable piece of moral cowardice. So let me just start by asking you, I presume you condemn and were horrified by what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Absolutely. I was on the air, Piers, when it all happened. I got emotional. The first thing I thought about were his kids and his family. This is not only bad for Charlie Kirk, obviously, and bad for his family. It's bad for America. And I also feel for everybody that was traumatized, that was there that day, that had to see that. Now, with that being said, of course, I didn't agree with basically anything that Charlie Kirk stands for. But with that being said, anybody that's celebrating his death, I think that's despicable and it's disgusting. And I've called that out, and I've been very consistent on my opinions since day one. If there's one thing that me and Charlie Kirk certainly agreed on, it's civil discourse and having political debate. I enjoy doing this show, Piers, and I enjoy having respectful discussions with people that I disagree with. So this is a horrible, horrible situation. We could never condone political violence, no matter what side of the aisle it comes from.
Why have so many people on the far left, the woke left, been so brazen in their gleeful celebration of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Well, my response to that, number one, is I'm not on the far left, so I certainly don't speak for them, but there's people on both sides of the aisle. I know Republicans don't want to hear that, but there are crazy lunatics on both sides of the aisle that
Thank you, Irishman. He looked like he Irish. He looked like the mascot for Notre Dame, but shout out to him for being real. And he also, this white guy, I don't agree with shit Charlie Kirk said. So the only thing I agree with him on is the ability to have civil discourse. And he said, I know you motherfuckers don't want to look at it, but there's terrible people on both sides of the aisle. And for some reason, I don't know why these political nuts seem to think that one side is heavenly and the other side is hell. I just don't get it. And it's fucked up. The white man had to say, I know y'all don't want to admit it. Look how they looking. Look how Piers looking. No, it's not. Piers isn't even a Republican or a Democrat. Why are we even talking to this motherfucker?
sides of the aisle. I know Republicans don't want to hear that, but there are crazy lunatics on both sides of the aisle that celebrate really horrible things that happen to people in America. I don't agree with them. And if you're on the
facts, come on, let me rewind Leprechaun back. He would cook it. Look at this, but she's so offended. She's like, I can't believe you said that. You're a sellout to our race. And this strong-faced nigga just ain't got nothing else to say. If there was any doubt that this was a nigga, just look at the shoulders. This nigga was a linebacker for Florida State at some point in his life.
No matter what side of the aisle it comes from.
Why have so many people on the far left, the woke left, been so brazen in their gleeful celebration of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Well, my response to that, number one, is I'm not on the far left, so I certainly don't speak for them, but there's people on both sides of the aisle. I know Republicans don't want to hear that, but there are crazy lunatics on both sides of the aisle that celebrate really horrible things that happen to people in America. I don't agree with them. And if you're on the far left or the far right and you celebrate anybody getting murdered, then there's something wrong with you. And I don't feel bad for any of those people that were fired for celebrating his death. I think it's disgusting. Now, if you're just talking about him and saying, well, he wasn't a good guy, here's why I didn't like him, here are some of his quotes that he said in the past, I don't think you should be fired for that. I think there's a way to call out political violence and say, Charlie Kirk didn't deserve this. I feel for his family, but I didn't like Charlie Kirk and I didn't like what he stood for. I think you could make both points respectfully.
Okay, Lucas Bean, I've been pointed out to me that you've posted some messages about Charlie Kirk on your Instagram, which we're going to show here. One is a post that's a parody of a Jubilee debate. I'm doing one of these myself soon, titled Charlie Kirk versus Bullet. Can one bullet to the neck outsmart one conservative? Well, that was a short watch. Number 2 is a mocked up promotion poster called Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods and hashtagged both Charlie Kirk and his widow. And the third was an image of a sunrise titled God Works in Mysterious Ways with the hashtag Charlie Kirk killing and praying hands as an emoji. And you're laughing as I show these. Why do you find this funny?
Well, let me just say that I actually am a big advocate for dark humor. And I happen to have gotten a bit of a taste of that over the last, I don't know, maybe decade or so when it came to the right and their memes of.
Ooh, right here he cooking. They is mad because that's what they call it, dark humor. And he said, I got it from y'all. They don't like that. I got my sense of dark humor from y'all. It's cool when y'all do it. It's the problem when I do it. Fuck them.
That I actually am a big advocate for dark humor. And I happen to have gotten a bit of a taste of that over the last, I don't know, maybe decade or so when it came to the right and their memes of George Floyd. Happy birthday being sober for 5 years. When it came to their memes of Breonna Taylor, when it came to their memes of Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon challenge, right? When it came to their memes of Tamir Rice. So I don't know what the issue is. I think I'm engaging in the freedom of speech that the right has been advocating for these last 10 years and mocking and making light of Black death, something that Charlie Kirk himself did time and time again. As a matter of fact, I would argue that if Charlie Kirk, instead of focusing his time on Black culture and Black on Black crime, if he had spent a modicum of his time focusing on the white youth, that perhaps he would still be with us today.
Are you pleased he's dead?
No, absolutely not.
So how did you feel about his
But
murder?
I don't think.
How did you feel about his murder?
How do I feel about his murder?
Yeah.
How would you be pleased with somebody being dead that you don't know? He doesn't know the man, so how would he be pleased?
Well, I think a quote by a great author sums up the sentiment of millions of Americans around the world. And that is, some cause happiness wherever they go, others when they go. And I think that's a sentiment that is palpable amongst many Americans around the world due to the hate and vitriol and bile that Charlie Kirk sowed. So I think there was a
just to be clear, unless I misheard you, then you are happy he died.
No, I don't think as far as happiness is an emotion that
you literally just read me a quote which implies you're happy. You talked about some people's death bring happiness.
The purpose of the quote was to say that there are some people who have caused harm and death and turmoil to other groups of people, such as Charlie Kirk, whether it's Black people, whether it's trans people.
No, I heard the quote.
The
but just to be clear, you said that the quote ends in that their death brings happiness, but you've denied that you were happy. And when you tell me a quote,
I don't disagree.
When you tell me a quote like that, I presume from that quote you're implying that actually you are happy he died because he deserved it. He had it coming.
No, not at all. I don't think those are ever words that I've ever mentioned verbatim ever. I think there is.
Where Piers, when you assume, you make an ass of yourself. He was very direct in what he said and how he felt.
A sentiment that when someone who lives their life in evil and wickedness, according to the scripture, the power of life and death is in your tongue. And the hate and the violence that he spewed, I don't know what to tell you. As the scripture says, as he professed, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I think his focus should have been on a community that, clearly is in problem. That I find it interesting that there's more scrutiny on people who may make memes that they've done of George Floyd and other Black victims than on the white male youth that did this tragedy, as some would call it.
Why would you be offended about the memes to people like George Floyd, which I found contemptible?
Facts. They more concerned about the people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death than the motherfucker that killed him. Shouldn't y'all energy be geared towards that? And now he goes to the George Floyd means you found it detestable, but you wasn't up here doing a whole spiel like you doing now about Charlie Kirk.
Victims than on the white male youth that did this tragedy, as some would call it.
Why would you be offended about the memes to people like George Floyd, which I found contemptible at the time, if they're the same ones that you're talking about?
Why would you be offended, motherfucker? Why are you offended that people are laughing that Charlie Kirk was dead? 2 motherfuckers were killed unnecessarily. That's why he was offended by it. Both were caught on camera. That's why. One of them, though, the police officer could have just simply took his neck off and he wouldn't have. They took his knee off his neck and he wouldn't have died. Couldn't have stopped Charlie Kirk's death. But that's why, because y'all found it funny to make memes of. Y'all thought it was funny hearing the man holler out for his mama. Y'all thought it was funny saying he was a criminal and he was fentanyl Floyd and all the other shit that y'all said. That's why he would find it offensive, because he was still a human being. He still had kids, and he died unjustly. That's why he would be offended. And then white people made fun of it.
Why would you profess to be offended by those if you're quite happy to do the same kind of thing yourself?
I think the point that I'm making by the means that I'm putting out, which clearly has caused outrage and triggering, I find it a bit hypocritical that the people for years who said fuck your feelings are now overwhelmed with feelings at the moment. But the point that I was making was to point out the hypocrisy that the right has on a variety and myriad of issues, as we just saw with Pam Bondi on the freedom of speech. I think the issue is that they have scapegoated people like Pam Bondi for what is the crime of Donald Trump. The same thing they did with Anthony Fauci. We saw this when it came to the Second Amendment. They banned bump stock ban. They had a bump stock ban under Donald Trump while they were fear-mongering about Biden take away your guns. But as we saw, there was no outrage, there was no protest, and we come to find out that it was unconstitutional. So I think this hypocrisy is ubiquitous within the right, and I think my memes expose that hypocrisy.
And what about your own personal humanity? I mean, hashtagging his widow in a mocked-up promotion poster of Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods. How do you justify targeting? Hang on. How do you justify targeting his widow?
I think that's a bit disingenuous to use such hyperbolic language as targeting. I think it's more of a strategic plan of attack to get the message out to more people. When we saw Erica Kirk, she had a moment to speak for unity within the country, left and right, and she chose to fundraise. She then chose to use the scripture and talk, very nicely of her, past husband. And I understand that. But by that same token, there are people who were absolutely harmed by the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk put out. And that rhetoric actually codified in many cases in many states. So I think it's abhorrent and actually perverse to expect people who are harmed by his rhetoric, harmed by someone who had anti-Black, anyone who wasn't white and Christian in his perspective. I think it's perverse to try and criticize those people or try and make them seem as if they're the bad guys when that's
but see, funny enough, I can look at what you've done and I can see somebody who is abhorrent and despicable and actually evil. Actually, the stuff when you target someone's widow as she grieves.
Once again, I disagree with the word targeting.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me personally. My view of what you've done. I don't care about your motivation in terms of other people's inappropriate memes, many of which I may well agree with you about. But that doesn't mean that I then go and do it myself or worse, because that makes me even more inhuman and abhorrent. And by your definition,
I disagree. I think
evil. I know you disagree. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I know. I'm just telling you. I know. Hang on. I'll let you have your say.
I'm a mirror.
I'll let you have your say.
They have shown.
I'll let you have your say. I'm telling you.
They should actually detour.
I'm using your own justification to tell you what I think of you and what you've done. Right? That's my free speech at work. Let me bring in Gillian Michaels. I mean, Gillian, look. I saw Brian there nodding to some of what he was hearing there. Not all, to be clear, but nodding to some of it about the hypocrisy, which Lucas claims he is exposing with this stuff. What is your view of what he's said? It's not just how the news is told, but what's left out, which concerns me. And when a friend in the business recommended I try Ground News, I gave it a go. Quite honestly, I was impressed. It does something brilliant, which most news platforms are afraid to do. It's an app and a website that lines up coverage of the same story from across the spectrum. Left, right, international, lays it all out side by side. That kind of transparency is increasingly rare and is vital. Ground News helps bury only one side of the political divide.
What's going on, clown? Have you been listening to this?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I don't know why he would agree to. Boy, I
had to race. Well, because he said that. Well, because he did a great job. That's one. He did a great job, and two, he said that he was invited once before. He said it was some type of Black person being killed or something. They wanted to talk to him, and he didn't see the email till late, so he just told him like, next time y'all want to work with me, hit me up. That's what he does. He goes to talk. I think he did a very great job of articulating his point, but I had the racists mad.
Everyone else is missing.
Boy.
That's Ground News.
I was telling the racists, like, I don't agree with none of this political shit. I hate both sides. I think all humans are terrible, but I'm just not going. What y'all aren't going to do is act like y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all want to, and we supposed to just take it. And then when something happened to y'all, we can't say nothing the same way y'all did. At least we ain't out here recording films, reenacting the goddamn death and having Charlie Kirk twerking and twitching on the stage. We ain't doing that. But if there had been a Black person killed like that, we would have seen white people reenacting it.
Well, he called George Floyd a scumbag. Number of times he read out George Floyd's criminal record. So what if he was? He didn't deserve to go out like that. He didn't deserve what America saw. Just like Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to go out the way he did. But again, fan the rhetoric. They fanned the rhetoric. Charlie Kirk fanned the rhetoric. And again, if you attack so many different groups, there is more than likely that you're going to catch it.
Exactly. These people don't believe in what they call karma. They believe in it when it happens to everybody else, but not to them. That's crazy.
I did a short yesterday,
Use
and
.com.
I played what Charlie Kirk said about Michelle Obama.
I brought that up.
Congresswoman. Yeah,
I brought that up this morning.
It's like, really? So the one line in there that most people, if anyone, especially minorities, should see is he said, "You took the place of a white person."
Well, that's not what that wasn't even my concern. Well, the reason I brought it up was because the lady that was on before him, she was saying that Democrats need to do better. They denounce shit in private, but they need to do it publicly. And I'm like, okay, well, when Charlie Kirk did that clip that you put up, where were there any Republicans telling him publicly, "You going too far? Don't do that"?
Well,
they have all these rules for us, but not them.
Exactly, but there was no conversation of why.
When I say us, I'm talking about black people. I'm not talking about Democrats either. I'm talking about black people.
But there was no, when he said that, there was no conversation of why any of this was enacted. Diversity, all the things that were put forward were not because people felt sorry for somebody. It's because it was the way it was. The good old boys weren't interviewing anyone black, anyone woman, hell, anyone disabled. Okay? Charlie Kirk attacked HBCUs and said they should be disbanded. Why? Why should they be disbanded? They were made in the 1800s because you weren't allowing black people into colleges. So they've survived from the 1800s, and you think they should be disbanded now? Because of what? They actually allow people of different races to go to HBCUs. Hell, if you go on a HBCU campus, you will see Indians. You will see
not in Memphis, not in Lemoyne. Lemoyne is strictly niggas. In South Memphis, my mom is an alum there. I done hung out on the campus for damn near 40 years. The only white people I done seen them motherfuckers are professors.
Well, here's the thing. JSU, Jackson State. There's Indians on that campus. There's white people. Hell, there's white people in the band.
Boy, that's the only, you know what? That is the only way we will allow white people into HBCUs. They better know how to play a saxophone, damn it. and then we still got to make sure they got rhythm, because our bands are different. They dance and shit.
Again, HBCUs also need to worry about the grade levels, the grades that people are getting. So of course they're going to let smart people in, regardless of what color you are. It only makes them look better with the GPAs. So they're doing, there's reasons they do it, but again, you can't, if you want to get government money, you can't exclude people. End of story. Why do you think all these major, as they call, white colleges allow minorities in there? Because the only way they're going to do it is if they get money from the government. And if you exclude people, you're not going to get money from the government.
You talk about the WHBCUs?
What the hell's a WHBCU? Well,
the white historic, I should have said WHWCUs.
You can't exclude anyone for race, religion, or any other you can't exclude anyone, or you're not going to get government money. The government will exclude you if you exclude people. That's why even the Catholic universities, they allow people that are non-Catholic.
Well,
Same thing
Umar said ain't no white people getting the FDMG. He's sorry.
Well, I guess he's not looking for any money from the government then.
He not.
Okay.
That's why the school ain't open.
You're right about that. But I'm just saying, you're sitting up there, you mocked Nancy Pelosi's husband across the board. It wasn't just Trump and his son doing it either, because we know Trump and Donald Jr. did it. I'm about to release a short where he actually is mocking Paul Pelosi for being attacked. And Donald Trump Jr., that idiot, he posted a Halloween costume of Paul Pelosi. But that was okay. Nobody struck back from the other side about that. That man
Lucas,
got
you
on
talk
stage.
about how hurt you were and how offended you were by such despicable.
Go ahead, finish. I thought you were
No,
done.
I'm
You
just
had a
saying
pause.
that man got on stage and made a mockery of black people in their faces.
He didn't make fun of black people. He made fun of that black person.
There you go. But again, shouldn't you be offended by that?
You already know me, D Truth. I think both sides are despicable. I think both sides are sensitive as fuck. I think both sides say it's cool for me, but it's wrong when you do it. That's why I'm actually on this part right here, because I'm like, hold up now. Hold the fuck up. Y'all is saying all this shit Democrats should do, but y'all as Republicans aren't doing any of this shit that y'all telling Democrats they need to do. What the fuck? And y'all know I lean more conservative than Democrat. But I'm still gonna say y'all folks is crazy as hell right now. We done seen the shit that y'all have done. And niggas just sucked it up because we're not sensitive. We're not supposed to be, but apparently when something happens to conservatives, they sensitive as fuck. That ain't right.
What double standard? Double standard. You aren't upset when a Democrat. I mean, I don't see anyone going to the Minnesota Congresswoman's funeral. Nobody from the White House showed up for that.
The white lady on here literally said she didn't find one person that was a Republican or a conservative that made fun of this situation. I said, lady, you lying to say not one person did it. Come on now. You know that's not how odds work at all.
But again, where was their empathy? Where was their empathy when that happened?
They had it. They claimed they had it. They ain't make fun of it, but I know that's a lie.
That's groundnews.com/Piers.
I find this exceptionally sad because, Lucas, you talk about how hurt you were and how offended you were by such despicable things, and then you became the thing that you found the most repulsive, which is alarming. And
I agree with that sentiment, and not just with him. We always become the shit that we criticize the most. We always do it. We have the chance not to be that thing, but we choose to do it. So we're no better than the people that we were laughing at saying, y'all are wrong for doing it. Okay, cool. Well, then the opportunity pops up to where you can do something different. Why not do it? Otherwise, shut the fuck up, because you're engaging in the same behavior that you said was despicable. I can agree with that.
as I mentioned, deeply saddening. I would be more than happy to litigate some of Charlie's positions for you. I abjectly.
I don't think I
mean,
need any
its
litigation
face-
from a woman who tried to downplay slavery, who tried to all lives matter slavery, and purchase a black child. That's what I would argue. I don't think you need to as far as
Would you
litigate
like to
anything.
discuss it?
Okay.
Because the reality of the situation is that what I gave you, whether you like it or not, is a fact from the 1860 census. And
It
the point
literally
is
is
not
not
to
a fact.
downplay
It
slavery.
is actually a
is.
bastardization of actual history.
You're
what you
wrong.
cited
Maybe we can
was
discuss it.
inaccurate. You can actually look it up. I don't know if you did. I
actually
doubt you
did
do your
look
due
it up.
diligence. You clearly did not,
Would you
because
like to
in that
discuss
study
it?
that you're citing, in the study that I'm discussing it right now, in the study that you're citing, it takes into account not only the slaves, it takes into account the northern states and the southern states. So to try and implement or to say this all lives matter when it comes to slavery, which is abhorrent and in extreme contradiction to American history, especially in this country as chattel slavery as Black Americans, is abhorrent and perverse,
Well,
especially you, who is the mother
especially me.
of a Black child who she purchased.
Right.
Other
Is it
people
my
have
turn
died.
to
Ooh-wee. I ain't said, bitch, you purchased the black child. Shut the fuck up. You bought him.
If slavery wasn't so bad as they say it, why are they erasing it from the history books? Why are they taking it out of the school curriculum? Why are they disbanding Black museums? Why are they telling them they have to take down certain things inside the Smithsonian that actually told the story of slavery? If it's not as bad as they want you to believe it is, why are they trying so hard to make it disappear? Can anybody answer that? Because you're trying really hard to make it disappear. I mean, Florida has pretty much erased slavery from all history books, taking everything about slavery. Hell, they want to take Huckleberry Finn.
Well, you know why they took Florida out? Because Florida is where them Geechee Seminoles came from that was fucking their ass up. That's why they took Florida. They wanted to get Florida up out of there because them Geechees was crazy.
But again, if you're taking it out of the history books because it must have been so bad that you're erasing it. Now they want to.
Or they're ashamed of it. Or they're ashamed of it.
Exactly. If it wasn't, you're saying that the census said that slavery wasn't that bad. You're putting into history books that slavery taught slaves a craft.
So it's like going to jail and learning to trade in jail.
Yeah, you went to jail. You learned to trade. You can't, no, that's exactly what they said in there. That slaves were better off here being slaves than they were where they were free at. We taught them a trade. Well, again, you may have taught them a trade, but guess what? They couldn't even use that trade. You wouldn't allow them to use that trade. You weren't going to pay them.
I don't think they taught them a trade more as they forced them into a trade.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you're sitting there saying you taught them a trade, but then when you let everybody go, you know, hell, it took them 2 years to let people go in Texas. Like, damn, mail did not go that way. How long did it take for mail to go from?
Sir, they were delivering mail with carrier pigeons and horses back then, sir.
Still, it don't take 2 years on a horse to go from Maryland to Texas.
Yeah, dude.
No,
probably take long. Probably take longer. The horse gotta eat, sleep, and shit just like you.
Well, again,
could you imagine being on the expressway on a horse going cross country and there wasn't no streets back then?
I'm just saying it doesn't take that long because they had carriages that took people from places to place.
Do you know how long the motherfuckers travel on the Oregon? How long did the motherfuckers travel on the Oregon Trail?
It wasn't years. But again, there was no roads then.
That's why it would take 2 years.
And there was roads. After
the
Civil War, there was more roads.
They ain't even had no maps. Motherfucker would have got lost trying to come from Maryland to Texas. You know, they would have got
Texas.
Motherfucker would have been in Arkansas, some goddamn word thinking they close.
How is that even true? Texas was a state at the time. And you had Louisiana and all them, and it's only a 2-hour drive to Louisiana from Dallas.
Yeah, drive, not horseback, sir.
Horseback
is different.
2-3 days. Come on now. I'm just saying. Where
are you getting these from? What kind of horse do you think you got? You could just run this motherfucker for 3 days.
Well, how did the Union soldiers get there then?
I don't know.
That two showed up in Texas.
I don't know.
Maybe
they had units already down there.
Okay, who agrees with me in the chat that it doesn't take 2 years to go from Maryland to Texas on a horse.
Yes, it do.
It does not. All I'm saying is you're trying so hard to erase it, so hard to take it out of the history books so that the future generations don't know about it. Because again, if you erase it from the history books, you stop teaching it. Maybe not this generation, maybe not even the next generation, but the following generations going after that won't know anything of it. That's why they're trying so hard to downplay the Holocaust, because they don't want people to know about
especially you, who is the mother of a black child who she purchased.
Right.
Other
Is
people
my turn to talk?
You purchased.
Is it,
by all means.
how did I?
You purchased
Okay, well, I'm not
your
quite sure what
child.
you mean by purchase. She's adopted, and it is illegal.
Did you
to
pay?
purchase a child.
Did you pay? Did you pay to get that child?
No, I paid the adoption agency.
It was
fees to do my
absolutely
home study.
Oh my God, I hate hoes. This transcends color. Hoes just be lying. My nigga said you purchased your child. I don't know what you mean by purchase. I adopted her. Did you pay for her? No, I paid the adoption fees. Bitch, that's purchasing. You had fees to adopt. You bought a child. Everybody, you can adopt people without having to pay fees. You do realize that, don't you, white lady? But she was very, very comfortable lying right quick.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what you mean by purchase. She's adopted, and it is illegal.
She bought them lips too.
Paid to get that child?
Yeah, 3 months back. 3 months back then is the equivalent of 2 years.
No, shut up, Trey. Shut up.
That's the equivalent of 3 years. They didn't have a calendar.
Yeah. So she purchased those lips too.
They might
Those
be
aren't.
real.
No, they aren't. No, they're not.
She might be
white-
Italian or something.
That white lady's lips ain't that big.
She might be Italian or something.
She's adopted, and it is illegal.
Did you
to
pay?
purchase a
Did you
child.
pay? Did you pay to get that child?
No.
It's not illegal to purchase a child when I can go to an IG woman's channel who's done this 3 times. This is what the fuck she does. It's not illegal because they can't stop you from putting up a child for adoption that you can't care for. Stop it, white lady.
I paid the adoption agency.
It was
fees to do my
absolutely
home
free.
study.
It was absolutely.
I
Okay, so
paid
then
the
there was a
adoption
process of
agency
payment.
like you
So then
paid
there was
to
a process
adopt
of
a
payment.
child.
I
to
believe
an
that other
American
people adopt. You
adoption
purchased.
agency. Okay, you're wrong, and that's defamation.
I'm literally
It's
right
an
as you're
absolute
saying
lie,
that
and
you
it's-
paid to an adoption
you're-
agency.
She threatening to sue. That's defamation. No, it's not. If you paid fees to the adoption agency, you purchased a child. I don't know why we're doing this. You would, if you hadn't have paid the fees, you wouldn't have gotten the child, correct?
literally wrong, and it's this
I'm
kind
literally
of
correct.
hateful.
You know what you are. You know what you are,
I
Lucas.
think what's
Let me
hateful
just.
is you
Hang
downplaying
on, let me
slavery.
jump in
That's
here.
what I think is
Let me jump in
hateful.
here,
I didn't
Lucas.
actually downplay
Let me jump in here,
slavery.
Lucas.
That's
it seems to
literally
me,
what you did.
Seems to me, Lucas, you've decided to be just as offensive as you want to be. You're now attacking people who adopt children, which is one of the most selfless things that any human being could do, actually.
This is literally what
But
the
you-
right did to Dave Rubin, is
Fine.
it not?
Fine. But what you're doing is just trying to be as offensive as possible whilst masquerading under this umbrella of
That's what the fuck Charlie Kirk did, though. And y'all aren't complaining about him. So does amazing Lucas have to die for y'all to defend him? Because he's doing the same thing Charlie Kirk did. He's being as offensive as he wants to be for clicks and views. Same thing Charlie Kirk did. It's an even swap.
Who's the woman next to the big lip woman?
That ain't no damn woman. That's a man. Wait till you hear this nigga speak.
That's a man? It could be.
It definitely is. I know it is because I heard the motherfucker speak and he said Charlie Kirk would have been on his side if he was still alive. I'm like, what?
And that has the Irish bank robber said anything yet?
Yeah, see, you said the same shit I said. The Notre Dame mascot, he spoke first and he was on Lucas's side. He pointed out, I know y'all don't want to accept this, but people on both sides are shitty people. He was talking about the Democrats and the Republicans and they all got in their feelings. He was like, "Ugh." He said he absolutely did not agree with anything Charlie Kirk said, other than humans should be able to have civil discourse without violence. And he said he doesn't think that Charlie Kirk should have been killed. He doesn't agree with celebrating, but he doesn't agree with anything that Charlie Kirk said. So that's what he said. This strong-faced nigga here ain't said nothing yet.
Everybody else is offensive, so that's why I'm doing it, to expose all the hypocrisy. But Gillian is right. Gillian is right. But actually, you have descended. The way you've just gone after Gillian. You know what, Lucas? Stop talking.
No, but they're definitely they are hitting Lucas with something that he can't that he can't defend. You're doing the same shit that you said they're horrible for. So you're horrible as well. And his response is, I'm trying to change the world. Well, Lucas, that could be their argument as well. The best way not to do it, the best way to do it is to not engage in the shit. You could give examples. You could have done a video and gave examples of, hey, this is why Black people react in this way because y'all did X, Y, and Z. No, what you started doing was posting the memes and adding his wife. You didn't explain in those posts, which is why you getting this back, because you didn't explain anything in the post. You just put them up.
Is that woman trying to smile?
Yes.
She has so much Botox that she can't even smile.
Her eyes are pretty though. I like her gray eyes.
No, they're not even open.
Stop talking. You've targeted Gillian for adopting a child.
They open. They just great.
Let me bring in Riley
I targeted Gillian for adopting a Black child after she downplayed slavery, which I think is contradictory.
You attacked her for adopting a child.
I mean, let's not misconstrue my words that I'm saying.
Oh, I heard your words. Let me bring in Riley. Riley, let me bring in Riley Gaines here.
Sure, buddy.
Riley, you've been waiting patiently.
Great rebuttal, Gillian.
Okay, can you please let the other speak, please? Okay.
I wasn't actually allowed to talk, Lucas, but I'm more than happy actually to have you on my podcast.
That's because anything
and
comes out of your mouth
we can discuss all of it.
All right, let me bring in
Well,
Riley.
if you'd like to come on my podcast, I would be more than happy to.
Okay, that's a different podcast for a different time.
Willing to have discourse.
Okay, you know what?
My nigga said I travel.
If you're willing for discourse, let Riley Gaines speak. Riley, what is your view of what you've been hearing?
I mean, honestly, like it makes me fear.
Okay, my bad, Riley. You ornamented. Maybe I got the voices confused. She sounds like a girl, but there's another one I heard a deep ass voice.
Feel tearful. Like I have experienced all of the emotions over the past week. It has been to the day 7 days. I think initially starting with total shock and disbelief and honestly confusion. I've been so blessed in my life to not have been surrounded by death much in my family. I haven't lost really anyone close to me. Charlie was a friend, a mentor of mine. He's who ultimately I attribute to giving me my voice, the platform that I have. I attribute that to Turning Point USA, to Charlie Kirk. So to lose a friend like that, like I have gone through all the emotions, but to sit here today and listen to the discussions that we have seen, I think particularly from Lucas, whether it was about the memes that were posted, whether it was about Gillian adopting a Black child. I mean, I am just like in total disbelief, disarray. How have we reached a point where these are the discussions that we're having and on a national stage here? Like we have Democratic elected officials who are celebrating the death of Charlie.
Hold up. She just exactly explained what Charlie Kirk does just now. She explains exactly what he does and exactly what you said.
All of them keep doing it, but it's bad when Lucas does it. But they have a point, Lucas. But they have a point, Lucas. If you saying this shit is bad, why are you engaging in the bad behavior? You're no better than us.
Well, again, if you don't show these people, they don't see it because they're just disregarding everything that's happening right now as exactly what Charlie Kirk did. Everything he did was a reaction-based speech.
He said shit to get engagement. He wanted to trigger people or start a conversation.
And you know what? That's the only thing I ever liked about Charlie Kirk. Nothing that man said I liked, but he actually got conversations started. He actually got people up there. Now, half the people were idiots, but there were some people that were very intelligent that went back and forth with him.
Yep.
And that wouldn't have happened if he had not opened his mouth. Exactly.
That's how he made his money. That's why he had these college campuses sold out, because people wanted the chance to argue with him and the things that he said. but he wasn't literally out here living the shit that he was saying. That's why I don't understand why everybody's like he's racist. No, he grew up, he was fucking 30. He grew up in the internet era. That's all these motherfuckers know now is how to get on here and say shit to get people to talk. That's his job. He was good at it.
That's what Howard Stern did for what, almost 50 years now.
Still doing it. He's still doing it, sir.
Exactly. That's exactly. They're called shock jocks.
Rush Limbaugh, all of them. Charlie Kirk wasn't new.
No, he was just a younger version of him.
There you go.
They played the clip of him just getting ready to graduate high school on, of course, Fox News. And his whole thing was, I want to get young people engaged in politics. And that's what he did. That's why college campuses were his playground, because he could get out there and get college kids. But the thing is that college kids aren't registering as Democrats or Republicans. Most of them are registering as independents.
When was the last time the independent party was ever a threat, though?
But now
they're registering as independents, but shit, they're still voting Republican or Democrat because
exactly.
they don't have an independent candidate.
Yeah, they're going to vote either way. And again, they said most of the Republicans that were signing up were young men, young white men that looked for the Charlie Kirk, that watched the broadcasts. That was Charlie Kirk's audience. If a woman was going to Charlie Kirk's seminars there, they were going to fight with him because of the things that he said. He is very misogynist. He said things.
I'm with that.
Yeah, but he said things that no one should. He disrespected women more than anyone else,
and used the Bible to do it.
Yes,
and he used the Bible to do so.
Disrespected women more than most, and they were okay with it. Okay,
Kirk, the best and most effective debater of our time.
All they do is lie.
Activist, really. I think debater is really downplaying.
That's not true.
Ultimately.
Here, she's lying.
Yes.
In what way?
What is the lie?
Name me one prominent.
there?
Name me what? Hey, Riley, name me one prominent Democrat that has celebrated the death. And I find it very interesting. You've made a living attacking transgenders. You've made millions of dollars across the country doing that.
I didn't
if
ask
you
for
truly
this.
care about, if you, I didn't listen.
That's crazy. He says she done made millions of dollars off bashing trannies, and she looks like one herself. That is crazy. I thought that was a goddamn man. Look at them big ass shoulders. I thought that was a dude the whole time.
I'm sorry you lost your friend.
The leprechaun is
hold on a
upset.
second. Yes, in this case you have. You've made millions of dollars profiting going across the country.
And then she said, I didn't ask for this, ma'am. Yeah, you did. You're young enough. You know what happens when you post shit on the internet. You just said you attributed Charlie Kirk to changing your life and leading you and mentoring you and shit of that nature. So you in fact did ask for it. And guess what? When you got the publicity and the fame, you could have stopped posting. You could have stopped having these conversations. You did it. So you, in fact, did ask for it. We can look at your goddamn setup at outkick.com and tell you did ask for it. That's what you were working for.
I didn't ask
you
for
truly
this.
care about, if you, I didn't listen.
ask for
I'm
the
sorry
position
you lost
I'm
your
in.
friend. Okay, hold on a second. Yes, in this case, you have. You've made millions of dollars profiting going across the country. You've made a lot of money and you've made a name for yourself. Nobody knows who you are as a college swimmer unless you're attacking transgenders. Now, if you care about children.
Oh, so she was I told y'all this bitch was athletic. I said she played linebacker for Florida State, but she was actually a swimmer. But my nigga just like nobody, you weren't that good at swimming. Nobody knew you. We know you from talking this shit.
She got beat by a transgender.
Oh, and it butt hurt her. Gotcha.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Well, no, actually, I don't think she personally got beat, but at the time that she came around, transgender person actually entered into the matches, and it became a headline. Yeah. Oh, tied 5th with a trans. Yeah. Again,
she sucked.
yeah. Well, again, I bet you that trans, if he went swimming against the men, he wouldn't even be. He'd have been last.
He wouldn't. He would have lost. He probably wouldn't even qualify.
Yep.
Okay, we racing against
If you,
the clock.
I didn't ask for the
I'm sorry you
position
lost
I'm
your
in.
friend. Okay, hold on a second. Yes, in this case, you've made millions
have
of
not.
dollars profiting, going across the country. You've made a lot of money and you've made a name for yourself. Nobody knows
I
who
have
you
not
are
made
as a
millions
college
of
swimmer
dollars.
unless you're attacking transgenders. Now, if you care about children, then why have you not criticized Donald Trump? If you care about children and women, then why have you not gone after Donald Trump for not bringing out the Epstein files? If you care about children, why don't you talk about gun control? I'm happy that transgender is out of that volleyball tournament, okay? But there's more important things that we should be talking about, and you profited off of attacking transgenders with your hatred towards transgender people. Nobody knows who you are as a college swimmer. People know who you are because you go around the country attacking transgenders, Riley. That's who you are.
Actually, what she's done, Brian, very heroically, in my opinion, is she's gone around the country
Oh,
defending women's
here
rights.
go. Here go. Stay out of American business, Pierce.
But that's how he
fairness,
makes his
equality,
money.
and safety. Something that I'm very surprised to hear
Pierce.
that you on the left do
Let
not wholeheartedly
Pierce.
endorse and agree with.
Pierce, let me respond to what you just said.
Sure.
If in fact Riley Gaines, by the way, Pierce, I've had this conversation on your show about transgenders.
Yeah.
I don't think transgender women should be competing with women on the
So
playing
you
field.
agree with her?
However, I do. But here's my
Right.
problem with
So
Riley.
what are you
She
talking
doesn't
about?
talk about the
He said there are more important issues going on. This is what he said. There's more important things going on. You claim you care about kids, yet the only thing you focusing on is the trans athletes. And it's not a shit ton of these trans athletes trying to get into sports. It's just not.
No.
let me explain. She
You could
doesn't talk
count them
about
on one hand. You could count them on one hand. How many transgenders are trying to get into sports? Should they be there? No.
They
Give
should
them
start their own league that nobody will
yes.
watch.
Give them their own Olympics. I don't know, but they don't need to be, because again, it's pretty proven
It's
fact.
biologically unfair.
Yes, a man there's a reason why there's a world record for men and a world record for women. A world record for a man is always better than the one for the women. There's a reason. They
the
don't want to get
non-release
in the
of the
boxing
Epstein
ring.
files and real victims of sexual abuse. She doesn't criticize Donald Trump. She doesn't talk about how flags weren't at half-mast after children are massacred in schools.
Do you
She
talk
only
about? Okay, let me
talks
ask
about
you.
transgenders.
Let me ask you. Do you
Because
talk
It's so
about?
funny because
hang
in
on,
one breath you're saying no one knows,
hang
and in
on.
the other
I'm
breath you're
talking.
acting like
I'm
you.
talking.
I will defend her. She found her niche, though. I would defend her on that. She found her niche. That's what's important to her. She don't have to talk about anything else. Talking about that is where she has been most successful, and only an idiot would change up a successful business model.
Hang
You
on,
followed
Riley.
everything that I've ever said on any
Hang on,
topic
Riley.
ever.
Hang on, Riley. So, Brian, your position is that unless
Piers
you
is
talk
being
out
Captain
publicly
Save-A-Ho.
about every single issue that is important in the world, then it disqualifies you from talking about
Not what
the
I'm
issue
saying.
that you not only care about most because it happened to you, but you are passionate about because it protects women's rights. Is that your position?
Pierce, here's my position. You don't have to talk about every single issue, but when the second leading cause of death in children is gun violence, you probably should bring that up. When we talk about MAGA Republicans who have talked about the Epstein files and horrible abuse, Maxwell was one of the largest sex traffickers in the world. And the Donald Trump administration have sent her to a club.
Why does Riley Gaines have to do all that? Why does Riley Gaines?
Because she says she cares.
No, Riley Gaines cares
Because she
about.
said, let me answer.
Riley Gaines cares
Let me-
because a
This is
very
crazy.
very tall, muscular, powerful male called Leah Thomas said suddenly,
I agree.
who was a very moderate, unsuccessful male swimmer, suddenly said, "I'm a woman," and then began destroying women in the women's pool. It was clearly grotesquely unfair, unequal, and actually dangerous.
Pierce?
And we saw the same thing
Pierce,
happen in a boxing ring.
Sir, they're swimming. It was not dangerous. Swimming ain't no motherfucking contact sport, so it's not dangerous. Now, if you were talking about boxing or martial arts or some shit, I could agree. But a swimmer is dangerous. Look how Luke is looking. Dangerous.
That big woman could have got into their lane and ran him over. I don't know. But again, she
Said suddenly-
the trans didn't
Go ahead.
win. The trans didn't win.
Placed fifth.
Yes.
Well, he said the trans was mopping them bitches ass up.
Yeah, they always say that.
Who was a very moderate, unsuccessful male swimmer, suddenly said, I'm a woman, and then began destroying women in the women's pool. It was clearly grotesquely unfair, unequal, and actually dangerous. And we saw the same thing happen in a boxing ring in Paris
I
in the
would like
Olympics.
to be able to
And for
speak for
Riley, for
myself,
Riley to be
actually.
condemned by you,
That'd be super cool.
for Riley to be condemned by you because she doesn't also talk about other issues is absurd. Anyway,
Well, first of all, that's not even
you know what? We'll come back to this. I'm just going to hold the panel here for a moment. A brief timeout. I've been joined by Republican Congresswoman Nancy
Pretty
Mace.
much.
Nancy, welcome back to Uncensored. We're here. We're just having
Who is this bitch?
slightly insane debate, in my opinion. But there's a lot of insanity flying around at the moment. One of which is the
It's a
utterly
crazy
appalling
debate, but
spectacle
you decided
of
to
so
have it
many
on your
on the left
show.
openly, brazenly, proudly celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. How have we got here as a society?
See, again, and I just don't understand why he keeps saying a crazy amount of people on the left. So there are no Democrats. So there are no, you're saying just the Democrats are celebrating his death. So there's no Republicans that are celebrating his death. Y'all get on my nerves with this shit. Just because he was a Republican doesn't mean all Republicans agreed with him. So there are motherfuckers that are saying, I'm glad his ass is gone. Just like there's a whole bunch of Republicans don't like Donald Trump ass and they can't wait to get him out. But no, it's just a Democrat cheering him on thing. This is bullshit.
Proudly celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. How have we got here as a society?
Well, it's insane. You can just see in the previous debate, you saw two grown men, Democrat men, screaming, yelling on your program at two women. Riley Gaines is one of the brightest, smartest young.
Where the fuck was this screaming and yelling at?
You mean to try to talk over each other? Because that's exactly what they were doing. But again, she's trying to climb the ladder of the Republican statute to get herself
They were
higher in the
screaming
pecking
at the
order.
women. They were having a conversation with the women. Them women weren't disrespected and they were all talking, so they raised their voices, but the women did the same thing. You got two Democrat men. No, you just got men. Why does it matter what part? That's what I'm saying. Y'all
did
keep
they pronounce what they
identifying
were?
with politics. No, I hate
Did they
that
come up
keep
and say, I'm
identifying
a
this shit.
Democrat? Did they say that? I'm a
No.
Democratic man. No, then how do you know they're a
just from-
Democrat? They could be
Just
independent.
from the way that they're defending stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy how you can't just be a human now. You have to be a Democrat or a Republican. That is crazy.
minds fighting for what she believes in, and we want to encourage that, not discourage it. I don't want to discourage anyone out there to prevent them from speaking.
He didn't discourage it. What he asked was, if you care so much about kids, why don't you talk about gun control? If you care so much about kids, why aren't you talking about this Epstein list that we were promised we were going to get when Trump got back in office? That's what he said. He didn't discourage her to talk about it. He said, talk about some other shit too, since you're standing on, I fuck with kids.
Out by getting yelled at. I was yelled out yesterday in front of Don Lemon at the steps of the Capitol, and all we want to do, I'm a rape survivor. All I want as a rape victim is to ensure that men aren't in my bathroom or Riley's bathroom or in the shower next to us. That is dangerous and it's uncalled for.
But not the Epstein files.
I'm gonna point this out, lady. Most of the men that would be in the bathroom with you, they don't like pussy. They're gay. They don't like women. So the chances of you being raped by a gay man is slim to none. If you're willing to put on a dress and go in the girl's bathroom and put on fake boobs and a wig and stuff, you're gay. You don't want pussy. I don't know, but I don't understand why that part keeps being an argument about the people being in the bathroom. They don't like you, lady. They're not attracted to you. They like dick.
Why isn't she defending the Epstein victims? Why isn't she
Who
front and
knows?
center pulling for the rights for the Epstein victims? All thousands of them that are out there. Why is she not telling them that she needs to be kept in prison, a real prison, not a resort prison that she's in right now?
That's what that guy just said. He said that the Trump administration had her moved. He couldn't have He couldn't have his hand directly in there, but I'm sure they pull some strings. But he can't say where he wants a person to go. But they definitely pull some strings.
The prison that she's in right now has never had a sex offender in it. Has never had as it takes months to get the transfer into that prison. It took 4 days.
Well, I said he pulled some strings. Now he definitely didn't. They whoever got it done got some strings pulled. Whether it was Trump, whether it was whoever the fuck she know. We do know that her boyfriend, whoever the fuck Jeff was, he was very, very powerful. He had connects.
I want to defund them, and I want to shame these teachers out of existence. I don't want them anywhere near my kids. No.
Let's go back to the panel.
Son of a bitch.
No, or yours.
Nancy Mace, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the panel. I mean, Brian Shapiro.
Wait a minute. You stopped the panel to cut into this bitch? All right, we racing against the clock. Let me see how much time I got. Okay, 1:35. I got 25 minutes, and it's a little over 20 minutes in this video.
Any of that give you pause for thought?
Well, first of all, I find it ironic that Nancy Mace is talking about telling the truth, yet she's the person who blamed the shooter in the Charlie Kirk murder as a transgender. I find that very ironic. She also called me a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent that is anti-Donald Trump.
There you go, the truth. You just asked it. You said, how in the fuck do they know if he's a Democrat if he ain't said it?
He ain't said it.
So I want to be very clear on that as well. Listen, now she mentioned Ilhan Omar. If that's true about Ilhan Omar and she made those statements, I totally disavow that. But I don't think anybody could name me 3 Democrats that are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death that are elected officials. Number 2, every Democrat out there is saying this is wrong for the most part. Political violence, we should never celebrate it. And all the right is
every Democrat is not saying that.
Doing is blaming it on the radical left, including Donald Trump. Nancy Mace wants to say to bring people together. Donald Trump has divided us by blaming the radical left for what took place here.
You would be blaming. Okay, but Brian, be honest. If it was the other way around, and the investigators said publicly, as they have, as has the governor of Utah, that all the evidence pointed to this person being radicalized by the far right, you would not hesitate to say this was a far right assassination.
But why would you just say he was radicalized by politics? Why couldn't the experiences in his life done that? Most of these people that y'all are calling radicals aren't doing shit out of political affiliation. They're doing it because they just fucked up individuals.
He was radicalized by Charlie Kirk. He was radicalized by the things that Charlie Kirk was saying. He was angry at the things that Charlie Kirk was saying. Charlie Kirk radicalized him. The right had nothing to do with it. Hell, his whole family is mad.
It wasn't politics at all. It was just shit life.
Yes, it was. He was radicalized by Charlie Kirk, not a position with the right. He really didn't care about any of that. He just did not like what Charlie Kirk was saying about anyone. And the only reason they're emphasizing
he would go on a massive rant
that the boyfriend is now transitioning is so they have this talking point.
Yep.
Have we seen this person? Do we even know if that person is transitioning or not?
You would think he would be the most requested interview of all right now.
Show me a picture of him in ponytails. Something. You ain't doing any of that. All we got is your word that man is
a regular gay person.
Yes.
Yeah, he might be just a regular gay man. He might not be trying to be a woman.
He may not even be gay. They just said it. There's nothing on there. None of those text messages they release show any inkling of any sexual or even love texts back and forth. None. Just a conversation he had with his roommate. They call him his roommate. Okay. They started out as roommates, then they snuck in the lovers thing. I'm just saying, we're going on your word. Okay, if that person had pictures in a dress or something like that, they were transitioning, they wore dresses, we'd have seen those pictures, wouldn't we have?
Yep.
They'd have put those pictures out of that roommate in a dress. We haven't seen any of that. It's just we're taking your word that he was transitioning. All right, go ahead.
About it. So there's a double standard there,
No,
right?
you're wrong. You're wrong.
You
I don't do
wouldn't?
that, Piers. You could look at my social media. No, you're wrong. Here's what I do. I call out political violence on both sides. If you recall, Piers,
That wasn't
the
my point. No,
blamed
hang on.
the first-
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if he was a radical right, if he'd been radicalized by the right, I don't think you would be saying people shouldn't be talking about the radicalization.
The reason why, Piers, I ever bring up the radical right is because the right never takes responsibility, literally, for anything.
But nor is the
They
left.
blamed
But
Donald
nor
Trump.
is the left.
Listen,
the left,
Piers,
having
I'm
said
not
this
one
for
of-
years,
Piers,
now is doing exactly the same thing. I saw Jimmy Kimmel
Piers,
literally
we
go
took very-
I saw Jimmy Kimmel go on a rant saying
Piers,
this guy
Piers-
was a MAGA guy, the shooter. Complete lie.
Piers, I'm going
to. That wasn't a rant, though. It wasn't a rant.
He said it one time. That's the specific section that they fired him over was what, 30 seconds, if that?
And it wasn't even bad.
It wasn't. It wasn't. He just mentioned that his
I'm always
whole
consistent on this
family is
issue.
MAGA. That's it.
Which meant he probably was MAGA too.
There you go.
But
His
we
whole
also
family.
got to stop. We also have to stop this whole MAGA thing because it just popped up. It's 10 years old. It hadn't been a thing until Donald Trump ran for election and said, "Make America Great Again." And if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't even the first one to use that slogan. Motherfuckers just be labeling people with shit. These motherfuckers thought like that before Trump ran. If that's what y'all are trying to say, they were already created. Trump just had the slogan, but they already had those views, morals, principles, values, or whatever else the fuck said. They didn't just pop up when Trump said, "Hey guys, I want to be president."
He's a MAGA guy, the shooter. Complete lie.
Piers, I'm always consistent on this issue. It doesn't matter whether it comes from the right or the left. It's wrong. We need to call out political violence on both sides of the aisle.
But we should
And I
also
think
be
that's what most
unafraid
Democrats and
to. Yeah, but Brian, you're missing my point. We should also be unafraid to call out radicalization when we see it.
No, the point is what he just said. Both sides are fucked up. You keep talking about pointing out radicalization, but you won't point it out on your particular side. And Piers don't even have a side because he's not American.
As a primary motivation for these assassinations.
So do you think this shooter was a radical leftist?
I think this person was, as the investigators
the
are
rhetoric
saying,
that he used.
I'll come to you in a moment, Lucas. As the investigators are saying, and as the governor is saying, the governor has hit a very, in my view, sensible tone throughout all this. As they've all been saying, all the evidence is pointing to a young man who was radicalized to the left.
Okay, so let me respond to that real quickly. So first of all, even if that is true, I totally disagree with what Megyn Kelly said. If you're somebody...
What evidence would show that he was influenced by what the Democratic Party was saying or the Republican Party? What proof, what evidence is there of that? Like, did they go in his room and see he was always watching CNN? Did they go through his web browser history and he was only looking at Democratic talking points? What the fuck is... I hate the world.
Who wants to kill somebody because you disagree with their beliefs, then there's something wrong with you. You are crazy. So Piers, even if that was true, now we know he comes from a conservative Mormon family.
Yeah.
I don't really care what his political affiliation is. I'm grateful that his father and a transgender, by the way, who two people on this panel continue to attack. There's a transgender that we should be thanking.
His daddy was a
haven't had a chance to say a word yet because
the supposed
dude,
boyfriend.
The killer's dad. It was a
no. They're talking about the one that's cooperating is supposedly a transgender. That's who he's talking about. He's not talking about the father. We should thank the father, and then he went into, and we should be thanking that transgender that is helping the police put all this together. Well, there's a reason. They did mention that they broke up, so they're not really together. So, but again, he was thanking the roommate for coming forward and helping.
I'm
Shut
just
up
letting
for
them
5
talk.
seconds.
All right, let me bring in the two women here. Let me bring in
Who
Gillian.
they are. We actually don't need
Hang on,
to say
only
anything.
talk at once,
They're
please.
showing the
Can the two
world
men
who they
shut
are.
up for a moment? Gillian.
There are so many lies here. I don't know which to tackle first. The reality is that we are here because of the very things you guys are doing in this moment. You refuse to engage in any sort of intelligent dialogue or debate. You just name call. We're bigots. We're racist. This is
Motherfucker, y'all have been doing it by calling people far right and shit. That's name calling. What the hell is wrong with these hoes?
exactly how we got here. This kind of othering, this kind of demonization. If you guys want to have an intelligent conversation about something that I have said, something that Riley has said, or something that Charlie has said, I'm absolutely here for it. But in this moment, you are very clearly showing the world that you are an integral part of this problem. And it's irrelevant what side of the aisle you're on. It's a human characteristic of demonizing others, and you both have it.
All right, Riley.
Can I just?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
Riley
I would
will
just
go
like
next.
the opportunity to defend myself for a second because
So does this white lady though. But this again, people can't see past their own bullshit. You old plastic bitch.
Brian, what you said is like the most ill-informed thing I've ever heard. Number one, to insinuate that I'm not a good athlete, as if that even matters. Okay, I'm one of the fastest Americans of all time. Can you name me 3 female swimmers?
But there she goes lying. When did he say she wasn't a good athlete? The only person that talked about somebody not being good in athletics was Piers Morgan when he said the guy was unsuccessful with men. They so sensitive.
Reason why I said nobody would
Can you
know
name
who
me
you are
3 female
because you're-
swimmers? If you were going to talk about how no one knew me, can you name me 3 of the top female swimmers in this nation or this world?
99% of the country. 99% of the country.
No, we don't. The only time men watch female swimming is when the Olympics comes on, and that's what they got on the TV. But we ain't going to search out for it. Sorry, just not. And actually, I'll take that back. We'll watch the women divers before we do the swimmers.
Well, you know what? You know
Can't
why
name
we
3
don't
female
know
swimmers.
any-
The only reason why we
You know why we don't know any female swimmers? Because you're not winning multiple gold medals. The only reason we know that guy that won 1,000 medals in
Phelps.
swimming, Michael Phelps,
Michael
is because he
Phelps.
won 1,000 medals.
He's
some
the
medals.
only swimmer I know of all time. Swimmers, now some divers. I can name Greg Louganis and that trainer that married the Kardashians. I can name them, but they were divers. Well, one of them, Greg
Bruce Jenner
Louganis was a diver.
No,
He was a runner. Bruce Jenner was a runner.
Bruce
wasn't
Jenner
he?
was a runner.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Take him off. Well, so fuck it. I only know 2 swimmers there, 2 people that did aquatic sports: Michael Phelps and Greg Louganis. That's it.
Yeah, but no one knows it because they don't win a lot of gold medals. The other countries whoop your asses. You don't win gold medals. We
suck.
don't know you. So that's
We
not.
don't
I
know
don't.
you
I
'cause
don't think
y'all
this guy
suck.
should know a swimmer. He should know a swimmer.
know
Okay,
who you are.
precisely.
Half
So
transgender.
You saying
why-
99% America don't know.
The reason why I said nobody would
Can you
know
name
who
me
you are
3
because
female
you are
swimmers? If you were going to talk about how no one knew me,
No.
can you name me 3 of the top female swimmers in this nation or this
99%
world?
of the country. 99% of the country can't name 3 female swimmers. The only reason why you know who
Okay,
you are is
precisely.
because
So
you're
why
24/7.
did my athletic ability, which again,
He didn't
one of
bring
the
it
fastest in
up.
the nation and the world, really, for that matter, when I was competing, why did that have anything to do with anything? Are you saying only the best female athletes, only the best of the best, only those who are winning Olympic gold medals deserve fairness? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Make it clear to
No,
me, please.
what I'm saying is,
Okay,
I'm
so,
gonna make
okay,
it
so I'm
very
going to continue
clear
on now
and I'm gonna-
to say that I have not been a voice
So
for
you
the
don't want me to-
Epstein
so you don't want me to
victims
respond
is
to your
ridiculous.
question?
This is a recent
No, they
tweet that
wanna
I
be
put out that I got a lot of flack
No,
for.
you
I
said-
said,
and
I
she
serve
only
Christ,
know
not a
him 'cause he
politician.
got
That
it.
Why
being
won't
said,
Donald Trump
no
release the
way
Epstein files?
we are going to act like the proven harm and abuse of
Because
Epstein
he's in them.
cause never happened. His victims deserve so much better than that. There is no line to walk when it comes to sex trafficking, especially of children. So to
Okay,
slander
Riley, may I
me
ask you a
and say
question?
that I have not been a voice
Riley?
for the Epstein victims is ridiculous.
Okay,
I
Riley.
have been a voice for
Riley,
the
may I
women
ask
in
you a
Muslim
question?
countries, in Afghanistan, in Yemen, in South Sudan, who are under Sharia law, who don't get to get an education,
Riley.
who don't get to go to the gym, who don't get to go to the doctor. Like, I have been a voice for all these women. So to sit here and
Okay,
act like you know
understood.
me, number one, is
Riley?
ridiculous and
Riley.
entirely
Okay,
defamatory.
Riley, can I respond? Okay, Riley.
Now that I'm done,
Understood.
absolutely.
Let me ask. Okay, so Riley, when
Defamatory.
Donald Trump bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms on the Howard Stern show, are you?
Wait, wasn't she just wait a minute? Wasn't she just yelling? Were both of them just yelling at the men and calling names?
Yeah.
I thought this plastic
Bring
Barbie.
that other-
I thought this
yeah.
old lady said we can't do that.
Bring that
You're willing to
other bitch back.
condemn Donald Trump right now on the program, or the fact that he's a liable sexual abuser and a 34-count felon. He bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms. If you care, which I believe you do, by the way, Riley, if you care about young women, are you willing to condemn Donald Trump for going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission?
I think any man who violates.
I don't know about that. I will say that it was a different time,
said,
and I think
he said it on the Howard Stern
it was
show.
a different. Okay. As I was saying, before you cut me off, it was a different time back then, and I actually believe that was during the Miss America pageants that he was running or over or whatever. I think. But him being in the locker rooms, did he touch any of the? Did he touch any of the women?
He said on the. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that clip and I'm gonna play it.
Yes, what he said. He said he was in the locker room, but did he fuck with anybody? Did he bother anybody?
His exact words to Howard Stern was, "I would burst into the locker room. They would be half dressed, and they couldn't do anything about it because I own the pageant."
No, they could do something about it. They could just simply withdraw. They could complain. The same things they could do now. Nobody's come out and said Trump ever did this to me. Trump took it. None of that. So it's irrelevant.
17
the
women
point,
did.
They said he raped them.
Yeah, they said inappropriate touch. Remember, this is the man that said grab him by the.
Yeah, inappropriate touching. Inappropriate
did.
touching is not rape, and you can say what you want to. Was he found guilty of it? Was he charged and found guilty of it?
At one point, he was. Yes, that's the lawsuit he got.
Okay, so if he was
the one he lost $500 million.
But that wasn't. You talking about with the prostitute girl?
No, with the lady.
The porn girl.
No, not her. No, the Carol something sued him for what he did to her in the changing room of a major department store.
So
that's what she won the suit.
Lawsuit isn't criminal.
Well, it's passed. It's a civil suit, and he lost over $580 million, and they found him guilty. So it's not like he hasn't been accused
civil case,
of
not
it.
criminal. That's
But
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about criminal. And in the age and time we're in, if you're a rich man, you've been accused of some shit. That's just where we're at.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't excuse it. That's exactly what happened with Epstein in 2006.
Why are they talking about something that happened in 1980 right now? Trump has nothing to do with this conversation, yet they keep bringing his name up. It's the weirdest shit in the world. He ain't got nothing to do with the situation because he did something where he was a private citizen 20, 30 years ago. They're going to just keep saying he's the same person now, and you need to be defending X, Y, and Z because he did this 40 years ago.
Then why did he bring out all the people that accused Clinton?
Because his wife was running.
Okay, so what's the difference between them bringing out all the people that accused Trump? Is it the same?
They didn't do it the first term.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so why are they still talking about it?
Because that's who he is.
Constantly. So he won for 4 years, set out for 4 years, and come back. So he's saying in 12 years, y'all ain't been able to come up with nothing else.
Statute of limitation.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the people talking about it. I ain't talking about him being in charge. I'm saying these motherfuckers, these females, these niggas, why can't they find something else to talk about? Everybody has a goddamn past.
Not so you're saying it's okay to have about 30 women accuse you of that?
I didn't say.
I'm just saying though.
Accusations are accusations. That's it. If he's charged,
who he was.
If he's charged, I go with that. If he was found acquitted, I get that. That's why I started off by saying it was a different time.
Yes,
period.
but a rich
Look
man
at
will
all
get
the
off
people.
every time.
Look at all. look at all the people from his. That's not true, because look at all the rich motherfuckers from his era that have done time. Harvey Weinstein and them, Bill Cosby. But it doesn't matter now. You just, but Trump could. Okay, so if you're saying now Trump could still be charged for this shit, because we've seen bitches come out and say Cosby did this to me in 1969.
They're not going to do it because he's president.
See, you got
Bill
more
Cosby.
You
Bill
got more than a man in jail, and we got 6 minutes.
Bill Cosby's was the 80s and the 90s.
My point exactly. Same as Trump. Well, Harvey Weinstein shit was in the 80s and 90s, and these motherfuckers are being charged with it. What's your boy Russell Simmons, another rich motherfucker, that left the country because of some shit he did in the 80s and 90s that he didn't want to follow down this Me Too movement. The whole Me Too movement was about shit that was normalized back then. It's criminalized and looked upon differently now, but it was socially acceptable back in those times, and they is judging this nigga. It was.
No, it
the
wasn't.
The women were cool with it. Everybody knew about that. It was. Everybody knew about the casting couches. But everybody knew this.
But you also,
if the women were still signing up for it, it was socially acceptable because they knew what the fuck this director wanted. He said, "Come to my hotel room." Everybody in Hollywood knew about it because that's what everybody said about the Diddy parties. When it did it, we knew about this, so they knew.
I agree. With that point. I agree with that point. But again, if you ask all the women that came forward on Cosby, all the women that came forward on Weinstein, everyone that came forward on Trump, and even the ones that came forward on Epstein, they all have the same answer. He was rich. And they don't believe me.
They were gold diggers, sir. That's what it was. They were attracted to him because they was rich and they could do something for them. If the niggas was poor, they wouldn't have heard shit about these niggas.
You're right. I believe all that. But is it acceptable? No, it's not.
In 2025, it's not, but that was the culture in Hollywood and around these circles that these people had back then.
It
was socially acceptable.
But there is a reason that they have a law that says if you are in an authority figure is added to those charges. If you're in an authority figure is part of the charge. That's why it's in there. And it was in there back then. But again, they had enough money. And I'm sorry, most of them women got paid off to shut up. Most of them women were handed a check. And they said,
which they took.
Exactly.
Which they took instead of seeking justice, which means it was socially acceptable.
It wasn't acceptable. They just knew the uphill battle they were going to fight.
That sounds like an excuse. It sounds like an excuse. I'm scared, but guess what? You still would have got the publicity out there. Your story would have still been out there. People still would have been looking at this motherfucker sideways, even if he wasn't charged.
Again, he's rich. He can afford lawyers. And most of the time, they just got most of it dismissed. Because again, the lawyers they're rich, they find dirt on you, and then they just start smearing you. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, that's fine, but you still would have your story out about what they did to you, whether he got charged, dismissed, he got charged, went to court, was found not guilty, or he was charged, or they investigated. It would still be out there.
You're right.
The same way that the stories are out here now, they would have been out back then. These men are still rich now, and for some reason they weren't scared to come out 40 years later.
You said it yourself. It's a different time. Do you think newspapers were going to pick these stories up? No, not back then.
Yes, they would have.
No, they wouldn't. It wouldn't be on the news. It wouldn't be in the newspapers.
There's always been investigative journalists that have popped out and said shit about motherfuckers doing fucked up shit. Somebody would have gotten it. Now you acted. Come on, D Truth. Come on, D Truth.
2005. Do you remember the Epstein story at all?
Yeah. I would. In what year?
2005. When he was arrested, he was arrested in 2005 for the
I
all
didn't
the
hear
stuff
about
from
it.
99 up. See, there you go.
I didn't hear about it until he got arrested, but there were articles about him. It wasn't big, it was local, but there were articles written about what he did in the weekend time he had to serve and all that shit. So there was articles about it.
Again, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't mainstream.
It don't
like
matter
it
if
is
it
now.
doesn't matter. Now you change, you're moving the goalposts. It don't matter if it was a lot. It doesn't matter if it was a lot. If one person heard the story, you got the story out. If it was just a local story, it would have gotten out. Now it has to be mainstream. Last words, you got 30 seconds. I ain't doing no music. I'm just gonna hit end.
Okay, and again, yeah, we're at 2 hours. And again, it was a different time, and you said that.
Yeah,
you said it.
We coming back with this one. We are. Lucas. No, I'm saying we're coming back because Lucas did his own. He reacted to the shit and he said some other shit he didn't say on there. To the next episode.
Angry
we out.
Irishman?